So if you tuned into my channel last week, you know that I broke into a new line of fragrances to me, and that was by the niche perfumer of imaginary authors. So if you didn't tune in, this is the short story collection. I believe it's $36, and you go through their line of fragrances on their website, and you pick 8 of the ones that you think are the most interesting to you. Each one of them has their own little short story, as well as a note breakdown that includes one imaginary note. I think it's really neat, and so last week I did a review on the first one, which was a whiff of waffle cone. I really like the fragrance. It's very gourmand, and it's supposed to smell like an ice cream parlor called Salt and Straw. Really cool. I did the short story, and so I said I was going to be testing one of these out each week and then reviewing the following Monday or Tuesday. And so in this video, I will be going through and doing my second one, which is going to be again, by imaginary authors, that is Saint Julep. So without further ado, let's get it. Alright my dudes, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back with another fragrance video. I apologize, I have a bit of a head cold, so if you can't understand some of the words I'm saying, I can't really help it. So with that said, before I get into the video, as always, if you do like my content, like, comment, subscribe, as well as hit the bell for future notifications. It really does help out my channel, and it gets you notified first. So again, this was the short story collection by imaginary authors. I'm not going to get too deep into it. If you do want to know more about it, I did talk about it last week as well. I picked 8 fragrances from their whole list of fragrances. I got them sent to me, and now I reviewed a whiff of waffle cone. I sprayed all of the fragrances one time, then I tossed the strips. Off initial smells, this was my favorite of all of them. With that said, I wore it all last week because, again, I was reviewing it this week. So this one I did get full wears on. I could tell you the whole information about it, and that is Saint Julep. So with that said, they give you not a note breakdown, just a list of notes like I said last week. One of them is an imaginary note. So the notes that they do give you here are sweet mint, tangerine, southern magnolia, bourbon, grisalva, and the imaginary note is sugar cube. So like I said, the imaginary note is really not an imaginary note, it's sugar cube, so it's a little bit sweet. I did say that there's a short story that goes along with that, but literally right now I just decided I'm not going to read it to you. I'm going to tell you what I get from it. So in Clarksdale, Mississippi, back in the day, during impoverished times, there was a church called Saint Julep. They didn't use it as a church for worship. They had 24 people pick it up and move it into a field of mint, and they decorated it with Christmas lights and a bunch of other stuff. They brought a bunch of moonshine in, and they partied. So back in the day, they also used sugar cubes and stuff like that to put it into bourbon and moonshine. And so what you would do is this Saint Julep, the fragrance, is made after the smells that you would get there. And I'm guessing, just like Salt and Straw from last week, they probably sell this at that Saint Julep church. But pretty much you get that booziness from the moonshine or bourbon. You get that sweet mintiness in the air and that imaginary note of the sugar cube. And those are the main things that you really need to know here. When you first spray this on, you do get a little bit of this mandarin orange mixed with a lot of greenness and a lot of this vanillic booziness. And so that's pretty much what you get from the opening to the close. You do get a little bit more of the vanillic mintiness as soon as you get into the dry down. The booziness and all that is more in the opening. But it's hard for me to smell right now, but I do know what it smells like. As far as how long it lasts, it's not a crazy projector or a crazy longevity. It's moderate projection across the board for about 4 to 5 hours. I get about 5 to 6 hours pretty much total of this fragrance, and that's pushing it. I would say more in the 5-hour range. Really, I don't know what else. This is more of a date night fragrance anyway, even though you can wear it day or night. And it seems like it's one of those fragrances you can wear all year round. Hot weather, cold weather, it doesn't really matter. It seems like, to me, it might be better a little bit like in the transitional seasons, like spring and fall, at least to me. But really, at the end of the day, if you want to simplify the fragrance, it is a boozy, minty, well, it's more of a minty fragrance, but it's a minty, boozy, vanillic fragrance. It almost feels like it has a little bit of amber in there. And then again, you get a little bit of this mandarin orange in the opening. That really provides just a sweetness in the background. Other than that, it doesn't really have a focal point in the fragrance. It is actually really nice. To me, I like it a little bit better than a Whiff of Waffle Cone for the type of fragrance that it is, and it's also super unique. It's very similar in uniqueness to something like Lacoste L'Homme Intense with that rhubarb. This one has this nice green mintiness that you wouldn't find in a lot of other fragrances the way that it's being used here. So again, I'm now 2 for 2 with the Imaginary Authors. The only thing that's different about the two that I wish that would be a little bit more expressed is the projection and longevity. But for what I'm looking for here and the uniqueness, it actually topples any need for the longevity or the projection. I like the uniqueness so much that I'm willing to buy a full bottle and spray it more and more often. And because it's going to be something that's going to be more of a treat to wear than something I'm going to be wanting to wear all the time. It's going to be more of a treat, special occasion. I love this type of fragrance, and I like unique fragrances, and I think you should definitely give this a shot. You can buy them in testers. You can buy them in travel sprays of 14 milliliters, I believe, and then in full bottles are around $60 to $70. So it's Imaginary Authors, and this is Saint Julep. One you should definitely get your nose on. I'll be back next week. I believe my next one is Memoirs of a Trespasser. And so if you like this type of thing, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this short story, as well as if you've tried this fragrance before. If not, just like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another one. Peace.